Alright, so I'm going to start off by going through an explanation of might. You know, this is really for the newer players. I'm sure the older players know all about the might and problems with might. This is for the new people who have no idea what they're getting into, and I'm trying to save them from backing themselves into the corner that I, and I'm sure a lot of other higher level players, found themselves in. So anyway, what is might? Might's a representation of how powerful somebody is. Really, anytime you upgrade or you build something, your might level increases. It's used to determine your opponents in raids. So when you go ahead and you click that raid button, the game system's matching you with somebody with a similar might level. And really, it's an attempt to keep the game fun. So what I mean by that is, if somebody with, say, a 2,000 might level tried to attack somebody with, say, a 5,000 might level, obviously the person with 5,000 might level is going to have a lot more advanced structures, defensive units, offensive units for that matter. So they'll probably stop them. You know, it won't be even have a chance to get it to anything. They'll just wipe all their troops really quickly. So that's why they pair you up with somebody with a similar might level. So now, what's the problem with this might system, and why do we want to kind of take special consideration with it? I guess the normal order for a new player is to go through and just upgrade all their buildings, right? You're a new player, you want all these new structures and buildings, and you want to protect your gold as you're raiding it, because it takes time to raid it. So you build these towers and walls around everything, and you don't really take into consideration how this is changing your might. You'll reach a point where your gold intake and your experience gained from raids will just kind of plateau. This is because of the natural progression of the upgrades. Really, the defensive units at a certain might level just become increasingly more difficult for your upgraded troops. And so you're not going to be able to start, plowing through bases anymore. Now you'll have a lot more trouble, you'll be losing more troops, and there will be a lot more downtime. Additionally, people realize that they shouldn't be leaving gold laying around. You know, gold's hard to get, and it sucks to go to sleep with a whole vault full of gold to wake up to have it all gone. So people will start spending all of the gold in their vaults before they go to sleep, leaving you with nothing to steal. And it's weird, it happens around the same might level. You find yourself in a situation where you're not able to clear bases anymore, which kind of slows down your experience gains, and you're not getting any gold for upgrades, right? I mean, obviously you're still able to get gold right now through Here Be Monsters or through dungeons, but I mean, it's it's hardly worth mentioning, it's so little. You really get all your gold through raiding. So it becomes a tedious grind to do anything, and it makes the game not fun. What we all experience, all the high-level players, is we went through this, you get stuck at that level, and you're just grinding on and on until you get your troops upgraded enough to the point where they can start going through bases again and start stealing gold again, even if it's just little amounts. And what we discovered was that we can manipulate the might system slightly. And I say manipulate, it's more we're catering our upgrades with might in mind. Instead of building all these defensive structures which increase your might level, the goal for what I'm doing in this account, and what I suggest everybody else does with their starter accounts, is to not build defensive structures. Don't build towers, don't build walls, don't do unnecessary upgrades that you don't need to do. This is all an attempt to keep your might level lower. So we're going to focus on building only offensive troops and upgrading your heroes, because then when we get to raiding, we'll have super powerful troops for our might level. Again, most people will go ahead and they'll upgrade everything, right? So they'll have a mix of defensive and offensive structures and units. And so if we have focused purely on offensive abilities, we will be able to wipe through everybody at the same might level as us. I mean, there's a point of diminishing returns. You get, you know, above, what, 4,000 might or so, and then suddenly, again, those upgrades come into play, and their defensive structures can start wiping you out. So you want to keep your might below a certain threshold. Usually I try to keep mine around, you know, 3,500 to 4,000 or so. And you'll just find yourself able to clear through bases super fast. You'll be able to get resources faster, fill up your vaults quicker, and it just makes the game more fun. You know, they came up with this term for it, Smurfs. I honestly don't know how that originated. I'm sure it came up at some point, but it's a good way to get your account started. It makes the game a lot more fun. Okay, so now we find ourselves with really impressive offensive units, but no defensive structures, and maybe you're worried about people stealing your gold. Well, I mean, there's a couple things to keep in mind. At the lower might levels, if you have really good troops, if you've upgraded your troops and they're pretty powerful, people aren't going to be able to raid you very well, right? If they're doing a mix of the defensive structures and whatnot, they're not going to have as powerful troops as you. So if they attack you, they're not going to get very far. You're going to probably kill them pretty easily, or at least be able to defend a good amount of their attack. Even without walls or, you know, towers or anything like that, you should still be able to probably stop most of them. Now, even so, you will find a couple people who are, you know, either smart enough, lucky enough, whatever the case may be, to be able to fully clear your base and steal all your resources. Well, now you've got all these super powerful troops. It's really easy to get those resources back. So it becomes no big deal for you then to lose everything, because you can replenish your vaults in no time at all. So really there's no downside, at least at this point, for going with mainly an offensive, you know, based build. Alright, so now how do we keep our might low? You know, we know we want to keep it low. Which structures should we focus on? Don't worry about building any towers. Don't build any walls. What you're going to do is you're going to build army camps. Obviously, you need troops to be able to attack. And we're going to get those upgraded because we want a bunch of troops to be able to attack with. Additionally, we're going to have to upgrade our town hall. We're going to only upgrade it to a certain point, though. Honestly, off the top of my head, I have no idea which level I'm going to. But it's when we get 4 army camps. Again, we want as many troops as we can get. We upgrade it to whatever level that is. You know, I'll talk about that later. We should be adding as many vaults as we can, because we obviously want to store all the resources that we're raiding. And we're going to upgrade those pretty high as well. However, we do not need the mines, gold mines and the mana mill, for instance. We don't need those at all. We're not going to be getting any of our resources through them. We are stuck having 2 of them, one of each, at the very start of a new account, but we're not going to create any more to keep our might level as low as possible. Same thing with the, what is it called? The relic hall. There are a couple of spells that are absolutely necessary for raiding and to allow you to get through raids time and time again. However, we don't need all of them, and we don't need to upgrade all of them. So we're going to do very focused upgrades on certain magic abilities, purely so that we can continue raiding and earning as much gold as we can. I mean, that's the basic gist of it. We'll go into more specific structures and what builds we should do or shouldn't do in another video, but I just wanted to quickly go over the might system so that people don't screw themselves early on. Alright, well, this video has been pretty long. I think I'm gonna call it right about here. As always, subscribe if you like what you hear, if you like what you're seeing. Leave a comment. Please give me some feedback, either positive or negative. Both of them help. And I hope to see you guys again soon. This is SkyGuy 264, and take care, everybody.